Hi, I'm Carl Stabe of Domino Connection, and today I have Jamie Greenwood of Jamie Living with us, and I'm so excited because we had a phone conversation a few weeks ago, and I knew I had to interview you. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
How are you today?
I'm awesome. It's a beautiful day, so I'm happy.
Good. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started, and then we'll go from there.
So, I am a food and body coach. And what that means is I help people, primarily women and women entrepreneurs, get their bodies on board for their big plans. And every woman I know, and men too, have a big plan, right? We all have something in the cooker, whether it's a business thing or a relationship thing or a body thing. We always have something that we want to create. And many times, how we think about our body and feel about our body really blocks us. It
Mm-hmm.
really stops us without even knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how we feel in our body can impact how we show up at a meeting or how we show up in an interview.
Mm-hmm.
All of that can really impact it. So I started with my own kind of body issues, as I think most people have. I was anorexic in high school, and then I got a number of illnesses that really actually made me look at not only what I was feeding my body. I ended up going back to school for holistic nutrition, but then also how I was feeling about my body.
Mm-hmm.
And so, kind of the connection between what I was eating and what I was feeling was really creating a very disruptive system that was keeping me from my big plan of having this career as a food and body coach for women.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was able to kind of connect those two, everything just exploded.
Cool.
Yeah.
So and we connected because I've had cancer. I had testicular
Yeah.
cancer, and not ashamed of it. I tell the world, but I believe a lot of it was due to stress. A lot of it was due to the choices that I was making in my life,
Yes.
and that's part of the reason I wanted to make the leap to start my own business because I wanted the freedom to decide when I worked and when I didn't.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's where I want to start. How I mean, and there's men in my audience too, and they need to hear this. They should be listening to this just
Yeah.
as much as women. Where do you start? How do you start kind of tuning in and understanding how to live a healthier life?
It's such a good question, and it's a big question. We could be here for like a week discussing how you begin to listen to your body. But I think the first thing is really understanding that we are not trained to do so. We were actually trained to throw our bodies under the bus for the sake of business.
Mhm.
Because even though society wants us to look a certain way, society doesn't really care how we feel. They want us to, and we too don't necessarily care how we feel all the time. We want, what have you accomplished? What have you done today? What have you checked off your list? How does that make you look in the eyes of everyone else in your circle and in the greater society?
Mhm.
And we forget that if we don't first start thinking about how we are feeling in our bodies and caring for our bodies, those big dreams never actually happen. So it really begins to start with checking in with how am I feeling? Because when we are stressed, I mean, I'm sure you experience stress, I experience stress, we love to pretend like it's not there. Like, oh, no, 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 like this queasiness in my stomach and this insomnia and this low back pain. No, it's not stress, like whatever.
Mhm.
I can, or I hear a lot of, it's no big deal, I can handle it. And I think that that phrase, when you begin to hear yourself say, like, no, really, it's fine a lot, or no, I got this handled a lot, especially when it comes to the physical sensations that your body is giving you are ignoring yourself.
Mhm.
That is your body actually talking to you, and you're ignoring it because it hasn't really hit, you know, red alert 911. For you, it did. It was cancer. That
Yeah.
is red alert. But I wonder, would you have ever made the changes that you made without that red alert?
I was on the path, but it was up and down. I didn't really focus my energy on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And many times we wait until things like this happen. I had a number of digestive issues that had to be taken care of. I was at a point where I couldn't leave the house. I had to be tied to my house because I didn't know where there was going to be a bathroom. So that was pretty 911 red alert for me. And my goal is really to help people begin to listen sooner so they don't have to have those big life altering upheaval pieces and it can actually transition more smoothly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, one is listening to your body, listening to, okay, I haven't slept well in, I don't know, 6 years. That's a sign something isn't going right. Mm-hmm. Something, the way that you're experiencing your body isn't going right. Or every time you eat something, no matter what you eat, you have a stomach ache. Yeah. I hear this a lot from my clients. And it's just the amount of stress and anxiety of trying to get this big plan out, but they're not listening to their bodies to actually help them do it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's tough to tune in because, like you said, we're almost trained to look at sports. You know, it's most of us have done some sort of sport, and you're almost taught to ignore injuries and go out there.
Yes. So this is such a good point. So I take this Israeli martial art called Krav Maga, and it's really intense, right? And like you're punching and you're kicking, and it hurts. It hurts. And one of the things that all the instructors always say is like, you know, pain is in your mind. You know, this doesn't hurt. And I'm thinking, no, this hurts. Like, and it's not just in my mind, it's in my body. And I actually think that they do a really big disservice actually by telling everyone in the class, like, you know, you're not feeling this in your body. And also I think I don't know, in every culture, but certainly in American culture, there is no kind of real respect given to the body. We like the body on the outside, how it looks, but there's no, you know, if it looks a certain way, but there's no real respect given to kind of listening in. I can't remember, there was a TED Talk. Goodness, I wish I could remember the name. But he was talking all about arts education and dance education, that it is being cut out. And that is ruining our children's education because they're not learning how to move and feel into their beings. They're only learning how to think in a very particular, you know, math, science kind of a way. Mm-hmm. And the body just ends up being this bizarre thing that just takes you from class to class or meeting to meeting.
Instead of learning teach them how to tune into it.
Allowing the body to be the driver. Mm-hmm. Actually, I actually believe that the body should be kind of the driver, and the brain then executes.
You know, that's a nice way of looking at it. Yeah,
like because we need our brain. It's not about like, you know, not thinking in clearly and not creating rigidity and structure, because sometimes we do need that, especially as entrepreneurs. But only letting your brain be the driving force, you completely cut yourself off at the neck.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you suggest people start? How do they start tuning in and you know, tune into that lower back pain when it starts to ache, or you know, when you start to get headaches and you're just like, just a headache. It's not due to anything, you know?
Right. Is the first thing is really this kind of mind flip that when you feel pain in your body, or symptoms that kind of, you know, whether it's low back pain or no sleep or digestive issues, this is your body speaking to you. Almost everyone I know just thinks their body is a pain in the ass. You know, like, if I could just get rid of my body, this would be great. You know, I just don't even want to deal with it. But actually, I believe that, you know, cravings and body pain and insomnia are actually good things. They tell you that something isn't working. So where you start is when those sensations and symptoms come up, instead of deciding that your body is just a pain in the ass, decide that actually this is a conversation that your body's trying to have with you, and let yourself have that conversation of asking, okay, where am I feeling stress in my life? Where am I kind of getting wound up in my brain that's keeping me from sleeping, instead of just taking an Ambien and calling it a night? Mm-hmm. You know, and I actually think a good place to start too, it's hard to listen to our bodies when we're gunked up with food that isn't very good for us. You know, I'm very much into getting, you know, to thinking about the psychology behind it, but I also think you have to look at first, what are you putting into your body? That it's very hard to kind of listen when your body's all gunked up with low quality animal products and, you know, processed food and lots of sugar and caffeine. And then if we are having body pain, taking all of those, you know, medications that help us, you know, get over the pain, but not actually face it. Mm-hmm. It's extremely important to kind of clean up your diet so then you can begin to listen better. I actually believe it's very hard to listen, again, when there's a bunch of junk in the system.
Yeah.
You know,
And if you didn't have a body, then sex wouldn't really feel that good. So
I love it that that's where we just went. Yeah. We were just only having sex in our brains. That, not as
how would that
good.
work?
How would that work? I don't, yeah.
No, you make a good point because for myself, especially in my early 20s, you know, no, this is the first time I've done said this on video, but I had hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was just due to the crap I put in my body. And I went to the doc. I was like, I need this to stop. And he's just like, you need to eat better. You need to, get more sleep. And that was the kind of one of the trigger points of me really starting to understand how to take better care of my body.
Yeah. Well, and if you're in your early 20s, I'm sure you're like, dude, isn't there just like a pill? I've heard that, like, can I just like take a pill or like rub some cream on that shit? Like how am I gonna like get this handled?
Yeah.
But you're right that your body was talking to you in a very uncomfortable way.
Yeah.
And so how did you change your diet?
Oh, I stopped eating a lot of processed foods.
Yeah.
Stopped eating McDonald's.
Well done.
Yes, I don't even eat fast food. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't. I do eat cheese, but I don't eat a lot of dairy. And I eat a lot of organic foods.
Awesome.
So and no one's perfect. I still have things that I eat fries every now and again, and
me too.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, but it's like the best fry on the planet.
Yeah.
I eat pizza too, but I only eat pizza that is just like going to rock my world. And that's actually, I think, what people need to understand when it comes to, I hate the term healthy eating. Oh, I hate healthy eating. Healthy eating sucks. I actually would prefer to eat beautifully. Right? To eat like beautiful vegetables and beautiful fruits and a beautiful pizza and a beautiful piece of chocolate cake that is just like from heaven, right? But it's good because it's the best. That's how I really think people need to start eating. I think that people just use food as fuel and they'll just like put any sort of crap in that will get them to the next meeting. Grab a handful of chips and like a few jelly beans and like run off to another thing. Or like, a bar. Bar is not food, people. Bar is not food.
It's like a healthy candy bar. Well, not healthy, but
some are better than others.
Yeah.
And there are definitely some bars out on the market that I do eat when I'm traveling, because you can't always take a picnic basket on an airplane. You just have to grab a few bars. And there are some that are better than others, some that have less sugar and are definitely cleaner.
What bar
others.
Do you eat?
I love the Kit bar. It's a new bar by Cliff Bar. I'm sure you're familiar with Cliff Bar.
I've never had the Kit though.
Yeah, they've only been out for a few months. They're awesome. They have an almond coconut chocolate.
Ooh.
And it's dates, almonds, coconut oil, and a little bit of sea salt. And so it has good nuts, which is a good quality fat. It has the coconut, which is good fat. And then it's got dates for a bit of sweetness and pick me up. And then, of course, cocoa powder, which is amazing. So, yeah. But that's actually what you want to be in your bar. Fruit and nuts. That's it. No kind of soy protein or kind of fakey stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, okay. We're talking about taking care of yourself. And, we talked about food. Now, how about, kind of exercise, or where do you start with people?
You just said the E word, which is terrible, Carl. No more. I actually do not allow my clients to exercise because exercise sucks. It sucks. It sucks the life out of you, and it becomes something that you should do instead of something that you want to do. And as an entrepreneur, we have a laundry list of should do's. We run our life by should do's. And when exercise becomes another should do, it just falls off of the plate. Just like eating healthfully. Like when it becomes a should instead of a want to, we don't do it. So I always ask my clients, how do you like to move your body? How do you like to move? Personally, I love to dance. I dance all the time. I love this Israeli martial art. I kick ass and I love it. I do run, but I used to run obsessively and all the time because I thought that was what was keeping me healthy and fit. And the best part of my run was always the shower after.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what you want when you are moving your body. You want to love it during and after. And so now I run when my body is like, I feel like running today. And I'm like, awesome, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of feeling like I should. So I always ask my clients to make a list of all the ways that they love to move their body. And having that be their form of exercise instead of all of the, I have to go to spin class and I have to lift weights. There are other ways of, kind of doing exercise that's much more enjoyable.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Make a list and then be like, okay, I need to move. I need to do something. Here's 12 different things I could do. What do I feel most
What does my
gravitating?
body, yeah, because, there are mornings when I wake up and I have a ton of energy and I'm like, yeah, we are sprinting. I'm going to run a few hills. I want to run stairs. Like I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other days where I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get on my yoga mat and do some gentle stretching.
Yeah.
And that's body movement too.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has to be so intense. Things don't have to be so intense all the time.
Yeah.
But as entrepreneurs, like we're intense people.
Yeah. We go, go. Yeah.
We go. We're going to get shit done. We're going to throw our bodies under the bus and we're going, but like we'll go to the gym for like 30 minutes if we can. But if we can't, then we're going to feel guilty about it because we should have checked it off and,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we're kind of getting to that mark where the ADD brain starts to trail off here. So we're going to start to wrap it up. This is the question I ask everybody. Okay. What is the secret to happiness? And it's usually my toughest question.
Oh. I think that there are many secrets to happiness. I think it's an incredibly personal thing. Mm-hmm. But for me, what I have found and what I have found with my clients is that the secret to happiness is inhabiting your being. Being in your body and listening to what it's trying to tell you. Mm. Because from there's no second guessing. I think a lot of unhappiness comes from always second guessing our decisions. Is that right? Is that good enough? Am I good enough? Is this the perfect thing that's supposed to be happening? And when you move from kind of the intuitive place of what your body is telling you, there's an ease and a flow and a contentment that comes with your actions, which for me makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm. You make a good point. I've actually asked myself, am I happy enough? And
oh my God!
Right? And you're like, wait, I'm happy. Like, that's all that matters.
No, really. Have I hit my peak of happiness? And I think my girlfriends and I talk about this a lot. And we do think that happiness is a bit overrated. I think that to hold yourself to this level of like, am I freaking overjoyed all the time? Like, holy cow, that's a lot,
Stressful.
It's stressful to be happy all the time. I think the key to happiness is actually peace, ease, and contentedness. Mm. Looking around and being like, shit's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And acknowledging that and remembering to, think about that on a regular basis.
Yes. Gratitude is incredibly important. Yeah. And I do think, and of course now I'm like, this is a whole nother topic, but I think it's important to also acknowledge those moments when we feel like things aren't so great. Because one of the things that I see too a lot is that as entrepreneurs, we tend to be like, excited about the future. Mm-hmm. And so when we have a negative emotion, we just want to ignore it and be like, no, I'm grateful that I have all of this. I'm just going to move forward. And to actually feel true gratitude, I think we actually have to also acknowledge those grief points. That by acknowledging the grief, you can then actually step more fully into gratitude and see all that you have.
That's a good way of putting it. Okay, so there's an entrepreneur out there, and we're hoping to affect just at least a few of them out there, and maybe make some changes in their health choices. So, what is that first step that you recommend that you feel is like most doable and most helpful?
Greens.
Mm,
If we're starting with food, like strictly food, I want greens. And as much and as often as you can. So maybe throw some veggies into your scrambled eggs in the morning. And you don't have to, everyone gets so worked up about salads. You don't have to have a salad at lunch, but making sure there's something green on your plate at lunch and the same at dinner. Just, you don't have to cut out sugar. You don't have to cut out dairy. You don't have to cut out wheat or gluten. Just add in more greens, and those other things tend to sort of fall off the plate a little bit.
mm,
I'm into crowding out. If there's a ton of vegetables, there's not enough room for everything,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So that's the easiest number one thing is just more vegetables.
Okay. I can do that.
You
That's
can totally
easy.
do that. And we're still in the time of year where there's so much. There's still zucchini and there's eggplant and there's corn and there's tomatoes. In the winter months, it gets harder. It's more like, okay, maybe some kale and some beets and some potatoes, but now's the time to try and get all that stuff on your plate because it's still available.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much. So they go to jamieliving.com if they want to learn
Jamie
more.
Living, yeah, jamieliving.com. And I actually have a call coming up, which I'm so excited about. It's a body on board call, how to get your body on board for your big plans on October 2nd.
October
And you
2nd.
can, yeah, and you can find out all the information. There's a button for it on my website at jamieliving.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Have a great day.
Bye.